Some stories, they're written down in books. Others are carved into stone. But the truly great legends, they're etched right into the hearts of a people, passed down not as simple history, but as a living, breathing faith. And today, we're going to dive into one of those legends. A story about a great monk, a truly monumental vow, and how sacred ground can literally rise from the water through the sheer power of devotion. Our journey begins right here at Wat King Kaew in Samut Prakan. Now, this is more than just a beautiful temple. This is a sanctuary that was built on what seemed like impossible odds, built on just unwavering belief. It stands today as a living testament to the incredible legend we're about to explore.
At the very heart of this sacred place is a figure who has been revered for generations, a monk whose name is still spoken with the deepest respect. Known by a title that perfectly captures his spiritual stature, the God of the River Mouth. This is the chronicle of Luang Pu Phueak.
So let's get into the legend itself. Luang Pu Phueak wasn't just any monk. He was a master from a bygone era, a man whose virtue and spiritual power became the very soul of his community in Samut Prakan, shaping its destiny for a century to come.
You see, he was born way back in 1869, so his roots in the land of Samut Prakan run incredibly deep. He was ordained at Wat King Kaew, the very temple he would one day lead. And get this, by the age of just 30, his wisdom was already so profound that he was made its abbot. He also had an impeccable spiritual lineage, learning from the great master Luang Pu Tong of Wat Ratchayota.
Now, in every great legend, there's a turning point, a challenge that just seems completely insurmountable. For Luang Pu Phueak, it was this incredible vision he had for his temple. It was a great vow that would push the very limits of faith and human endurance.
The heart of his vision was something called a Mahapanitan, a supreme aspiration. He dreamed of building a new ubosot, the main ordination hall, which would be the sacred heart of Wat King Kaew. But this wasn't just about construction. This was a monumental, selfless act for the future of his entire community.
And here was the huge obstacle. Wat King Kaew was built on low, marshy ground. Every single year, the rains would come, the land would flood, and it threatened to wash away anything they tried to build. It was like the earth itself was against his sacred dream.
But Luang Pu Phueak had a power that was far greater than any rising water. It was the faith of his people. And when he shared this great vow with them, what happened next? Well, it was nothing short of a miracle of the human spirit.
To raise the ground for the new chapel, he put out a call, and the community answered. They didn't show up with machinery, they came with their bare hands, with simple tools. Together they dug into the earth, moving it basket by basket to create a new, higher foundation. And the massive hole they left behind, it filled with water, becoming the very pond you can still see today, a permanent monument to their incredible labor and faith.
And think about this for a second. This entire massive project was done without a single coin ever being exchanged. It was fueled purely by devotion. Every single person who worked under that hot sun did it out of love for their temple and this profound belief they had in their leader.
And it's from this unbelievable act of selfless sacrifice that one of Thailand's most legendary and sought-after amulets was born. It wasn't created for fame. It wasn't created for money. It was born from a heart just overflowing with gratitude.
To honor every single person who had given their strength to the temple, Luang Pu Phueak painstakingly created the Phra Khut Sa, which literally translates to the pond-digging amulet. These weren't for sale. You couldn't buy one. They were a sacred gift, a personal thank you given to each and every worker. That's what makes them true relics of this shared miracle.
The amulets came in a few different forms. The most common were the phim yai, or the large mold, and the phim lek, the small one. But he also did something special. He created a rarer triangular version just to honor the women of the village, the ones who selflessly cooked and brought food for all the tireless workers, day in and day out.
Now, the power of these amulets came from the materials themselves. Luang Pu Phueak used all sorts of sacred powders and blessed ingredients. But the most precious element of all was a gift from his own master, Luang Pu Tong. Priceless, broken fragments of the most revered amulet in all of Thailand, the Somdet Wat Rakong. So, infusing these amulets with such sacred material gave the Khut Sa immense spiritual power and a direct link to the ultimate amulet.
It's why the old masters always used to say, if you want to truly understand a Samdet Wat Rakang, you have to study a Prapong Khut Sa first. It was seen as a key to understanding the very soul of sacred amulets. But the creation of the Khut Sa amulet wasn't the end of Luang Pu Phueac's story. Oh no. His compassion and his spiritual power would continue to protect his community, especially during the even darker times that were just around the corner. I mean, his entire life was just this constant path of service. He became abbot in 1899, guiding his community into a new century. He made that great vow and created the Khut Sa amulets around the time of the First World War, and he just kept going for decades until he passed into nirvana in 1958, leaving behind a legacy that is truly immortal.
In 1942, with the world engulfed by the Second World War, fear was gripping the nation. Luang Pu Phueak responded with compassion. He created another powerful amulet, the Prabhuth Chinarat. This was like a beacon of hope, given to soldiers and civilians alike, meant to give them courage and protection in a time of just profound uncertainty.
These amulets are revered for their powerful blessings. Metta Mahaniom for loving kindness and charm, Kaew Klat for evading danger, and even Kongkr Pan for invulnerability. But really, beyond all of that, they serve as the ultimate reminder of what we can achieve when an entire community comes together in faith.
You know, the truest measure of a great master isn't just in the relics they leave behind. It's in the living, breathing institution they help build. And his legacy isn't just history. You can see it, you can feel it today at Wat King Kaew.
And you can see the fruits of his vow right here. From that humble, marshy ground, Wat King Kaew has blossomed into this magnificent center for faith and for the community. And it's a direct result of the foundation, both the literal and the spiritual one, that he laid all those years ago. His legacy is in the stone. It's in the statues, of course. But it's also in the schools he established for children, the health centers he supported, the Dhamma education he provided. He didn't just build a temple, he built a community. And ultimately, I think the story of Luang Pu Phueak teaches us this incredibly profound truth. The sacred power of an amulet isn't rooted in magic or superstition. It is born from the purity of its creation, from the noble intention, the collective effort, and the selfless sacrifice that breathed life into it. The legend of Luang Pu Phu really leaves us with this powerful question to think about. It proves that from just one person's great vow, an entire legacy of faith can rise. A legacy strong enough to move the very earth, and enduring enough to inspire us for generations to come.